the time has come to count down the worst of the worst, the movies of 2025 that are not just bad, but close to unwatchable. I'm not gonna act like we've hit new levels, the box office pretty dismal, but overall, it's Hollywood, it's the modern age, the time we live in, so there's gonna be a lot of shit. If you want a more positive video, I did cover the best movies that performed badly. Thought it'd be a more unique idea. And to clarify, I never saw Snow White, which may be a very common #1 pick, but I didn't see it. I also didn't see Woman in the Yard, Hurry Up Tomorrow, The Home, The Strangers Chapter 2. I don't know why I didn't see that, but the worst movies are close enough to the worst movies, and even though a few will be very obvious, there are some that don't commonly get talked about, so let's see how this shit of 2025 stacks up. And also spoilers, because it's been long enough. I'm not gonna lie, the 10th spot was the most difficult. A lot of movies I didn't want to see fall through the crack, but I feel him deserves to be here. Focusing on Cameron Kincaid, a wannabe football player who agrees to some special training in a remote compound. You have the setup for a real unique movie if they actually did something with it. Instead, you spend most of it looking at weird stuff, not a lot of plot progression. I guess they thought it wasn't needed. It's okay at first, but eventually you want stuff to happen, you want to know more about what's going on, and that's the big issue, you kind of already do, because it's pretty obvious. If you pay attention to what leads Cam into the situation, the person who knocked him in the head, it's clear something isn't right, as in intentional. And so when you reach the climax, find out it's a cult they organized, the whole thing is not exactly shocking. And the over-the-top scene when he decides not to take the offer and just kills them all instead, it doesn't exactly fit the movie. It's a complete tonal shift, but it's not deserved because you know it's coming. They could have gone with a much more unique ending, but this is what you get when you don't put in the effort. Lots of visuals, gory scenes, replace real thought.
It's easy.
It had the potential to be a standout movie, but nobody bothered. The epitome of nothing. Once you get to the compound, the plot just stops. It's entertaining for a while, it's luckily not that long, that's the only pro here. For wasting the idea and outright insulting the audience, I couldn't leave it off.
Get your shit together!
Okay, I know some people love this movie for the references and being a love letter to the game, but I don't care about that. Like I said, you have to do both. You have to be good and respect the source material. Definitely some fun to be had for the fans, but that doesn't forgive how dull this is. I don't love the first movie, but this kinda makes it look decent. Being a direct continuation, around half the movie is spent watching not much happen, and in this case, it's really boring. It's not a fun movie at all, and that's the main issue. It's long enough so that becomes obnoxious, and I hate to say it, but it's not that well written. Vanessa's brother being the new antagonist was a terribly implemented twist. You see him in one scene early on, and the end, you can't tell me that's good writing. Other characters do and say weird things, not so much as the first movie, but still, nobody seems to want to be there. Especially Josh Hutcherson being in a movie with this title, you think he'd be more enthusiastic, but I get the feeling he wants nothing to do with it. Kinda like I did by the end, it's dull, the story is not that good, it isn't fun, it's just that simple. If you like it, that's perfectly okay, but when you don't need to be good to make money, this is what you get.
Oh no.
A lot of you probably haven't seen Shadow Force, and I wouldn't blame you. I don't know why I did, but some reason there was time to waste, so on the list it goes. It's not complicated, it's another boring addition when not much happens and you don't care about the cast. We have a not very good organization, our two leads who are a couple decide to leave. They say no to that. Couple as a kid, you know the rest. Given how generic this is, you need some other stuff to keep you invested. Unfortunately, Omar Sy and Kerry Washington, despite how into it they seem to be,
It's how special this movie is, you know. It's not the way stuff's going on because the movie's so special.
don't seem that into it. It's funny because my review gave me very little to talk about, so it kind of went into how much they hyped up this movie, at least the way these two did. It was still a fairly short review, so to see the finished product look this forgettable, this by the numbers, lacking anything unique aside from diversity, guess what? It's not unique anymore. I have to wonder what they were on about. Maybe some good action would have saved it, but you don't get much of that either. At one point, the two start fighting for no reason aside from not much else has happened. I think that's why this scene exists. It's not gonna go down in history as one of the worst movies because likely nobody knows about it, and that's the way it should be. I wasn't even gonna cover it until I saw the way these two falsely hyped it up. I felt it deserved it then. If you've seen it, you probably forgot, and it's best it stays that way.
No,
Yes.
never.
What?
This may be too low for some people, it probably is, and even though The Electric State is an awful movie, an abysmal adaptation, I feel I found worse stuff this year. That being said, it's bad, it completely misinterprets the source material, it's lacking any creativity. There's so much potential here, but it's all wasted. You get these dull environments that feel empty, generic character writing. I don't exactly see it as one of the worst things ever, like some people do. Honestly, it may be a bit overhated. It's not good, I don't have any positives, but it's just another bad movie that nobody cares about. You think they did because of how much money they spent on a non-theatrical film? You have to again question what the mindset was. It makes you think it would have to be somewhat good, why else make it? But in the end, it's bad because it's empty. It's almost like watching nothing for the most part. Stuff is happening, but they kind of make sure you don't care. Woody Harrelson as Mr. Peanut, I do like, it's fitting. But it's the most memorable thing about this. I don't see it as one of the worst movies ever, definitely bad enough to make the list. But, to be honest, I'm gonna forget about it pretty quickly. A long enough movie, nothing good about it, a terrible adaptation, that's the extent of it, but it's not a fun watch.
It's nuts. No offense.
Yes, to me, this is a worse movie, because it's so shameless. I don't really know what the point of Jovovich is. It's not just Resident Evil, she appears in very few good movies. And in The Lost Lands, is kinda trash. Overuse of CGI, extremely bland characters, a narrative too by the numbers for James Cameron. I don't know who's meant to enjoy this. I really don't. It tries to entice you in the beginning with this bullshit.
If you've got the time and the stomach for it.
And the ending acts like it's intelligent, even though you pretty much know what's gonna happen. At least I did. It's probably the laziest movie on the list, nothing memorable, nothing stands out, nothing took any thought. I may not forget the line, I refuse no one, but that's just because it's repeated over and over, as if it means something. It's a complete insult. Luckily I didn't pay to see it in the theater, and that's why it's the only movie here I haven't covered. I could go back to it, but what would I even say? I just said all there is to say. Her next movie looks a bit more promising, maybe, maybe not, but I don't see it being this bad.
I don't have many friends.
Me neither.
So why not hit the like button? It's easy, subscribing is down there too, and if you want to see me cover new movies as they come out, why not head on over to the Cinema Analyst. Link in the description. Alright, I know some people didn't like me hating on a Minecraft movie, and I can't fathom why. Unlike Five Nights at Freddy's, there are ways you could have done a Minecraft movie correctly, preferably not with real people. But what they made, aside from the occasional Easter egg, has almost nothing to do with the game, unless you count the way it looks. Jack Black says it's for the younger audience, but they're not the ones who made the game what it was. Fact is, they're not the real fans. They've been around for over a decade, so it's just insulting that this is the movie we got, designed to pander to a younger audience, guaranteeing a huge profit. Anyone who says this doing well proves me wrong is a fucking idiot. If you like the movie, that's okay, go ahead and enjoy it, but don't pretend it's justified. Don't try and tell me it's okay to make a stupid movie because it's for the kids. That's not the audience they should have aimed at, and even if it was, it doesn't excuse this. The writing is not good. That's the thing. It's not even good. I'm gonna cover it at some point, but I've kind of been avoiding it because a pass they've been given. I don't care if you think I'm wrong, but defending this movie is the reason so many awful adaptations exist.
What have we done?
I think that's why Twisted Metal turned out so good, because the fan base wasn't big enough, it wasn't guaranteed success. This was. Jack Black isn't even funny in it, Momoa is annoying, the rest are forgettable. The plot, like I said, is not that good, so it's a mediocre film. Fuck the supposed audience, fuck the box office. I will not give this trash any kind of leeway.
Whatever. I barely think about it.
And now we get some movies you very likely didn't see, but they're so bad, I can't ignore them. The Carpenter's Son is really baffling. I don't even know who's meant to like it. This Christian horror movie could have been interesting, but instead, it's just bizarre. The only reason for anybody to see this would be the fascination with Nicolas Cage playing Joseph, but that's about it. The rest is a weird retelling with a horror twist, but I don't know what it's for. Supposedly it's not meant to be an insult, but it's not a good look either. It's why it's so confusing. If anybody likes this movie, I'd love to know. I'm genuinely curious. If you want to go with forget the theme, like it for what it is, well, like a lot of these movies, it's quite dull. It's not too long, only around an hour and a half, but half of it is pretty much nothing happening, so keep that in mind. There isn't a lot to say, it's just fucking weird. It has no purpose unless it's meant to be an insult, but they don't want to state that claim, so it's kind of irrelevant. I wouldn't watch it out of curiosity. Nicolas Cage does have two of his losing it moments, but most of his movies have that. I kinda wish I didn't see it and included something more fascinating, but a lot of people did watch that video, so maybe it was a good idea. Either way, it earns a high spot.
Let my faith endure.
And essentially a worse version of that, and slightly higher odds you've seen it. Die, my love. The reason I say worse version is because you will also watch this wondering what you're watching. It has no purpose either. Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson playing a couple in a relationship that's essentially falling apart after having a baby. And while the performances are good, the direction isn't. It's mainly her losing it, going crazy, acting weird, repeating the same stuff. But in this case, what I just said really is the whole movie. A lot of stuff happening, leading you to question what was the point of that scene. Weird for the sake of being weird. No context, no direction. Nothing in this film changes. Only difference is, and it's a pretty big one, the movie is 2 hours long. 2 hours of the same thing that wasn't entertaining for 2 minutes. That alone makes it unwatchable because you can't repeat the same thing for that long. But even if it did have a variation, a way to keep you interested, it makes the crucial mistake of immediately having her lose it. You don't get to know them, they have a baby, and that's it. Have fun. No specific reason is given. I understand the message they're trying to imply, but you can't just lazily do that. Stuff has to be explained.
That's chaos theory.
What I just said is the movie, it's that bad. It's 2 hours. It's hard to get through. It's one of the worst experiences I've had in the theater this year. Well, that and Avatar 3, but that's only because it exceeded 3 hours. Case in point, do not watch this. There's no pros here.
Stuck for inspiration.
You knew it was coming. We've already talked about The Smashing Machine in the overrated movie list, but it's such an awful movie, it has to be here too. And that's really an issue because I also reviewed the movie when it came out. I discussed it during the Christie video, so how many times can I do this? people do like it, I assume they don't know what it's about because that makes no sense. It's about Mark Kerr, played by Dwayne Johnson, and his endeavors to repeatedly mentally abuse his girlfriend and continuously cry whenever he loses a match. I still don't know too much about Mark Kerr, but like I keep saying, it's irrelevant. If he really is the sick bastard portrayed in this movie, then why is he getting a movie? If he's decent, then it's like Bohemian Rhapsody, a truly bad portrayal, because if anybody acts this way in real life, they're not really redeemable. Some reason biopics get a pass on this, they're allowed to suck so long as they're dramatic, and a real person is meant to look bad. I get the idea they're made for people who really hate celebrities no matter who they are, and want to see them in this light, but given how these tend to end, that doesn't make sense. They're still decent in the end, they're redeemed in some way. I don't know why you want to be lied to. Not to mention, these movies are usually heavily cliche. Not interesting. You get moments when his girlfriend leaves him, but then comes back unexplained. They didn't even bother to write this correctly. And I think the key issue is just an assumption Mark Kerr isn't interesting enough to have a biopic, so all they can do is this. With Christie, it made sense, even if the athlete isn't as popular as what a good biopic is, despite the fake reviews. But I'm not gonna keep on that, it's been done enough. This movie is unwatchable. It's again 2 hours, so just avoid it.
Always about you. Only about fucking you.
Given the quality this year, as in most years, I think some dishonorable mentions are in order. Not only is it not the game, but I don't know what it is. It's Not Until Dawn, and the horrific situation they're in is not really portrayed right. It's kind of a joke. I don't want to be anti-American, but damn it, did they really fuck up the message behind the original Argentina movie. They got the whole thing completely backwards, and somehow made Anthony Hopkins boring. I've covered this movie 2 times now, so let's not repeat stuff, but it's the tried and true method of nothing happening for most of it, and it's still not that good. Can't ignore Jurassic World, it's shameless, it's pointless, it's empty, and it made a lot of money, so it's never ending. Possibly the worst movie in the honorable mentions, and it only missed the list because of some cool fight scenes, but not many of them, and the rest is just awful. Never thought I'd consider Avatar, but this one's actually bad. Not really bad, but with a 3-hour and 15-minute length you need to have a reason to exist, did not enjoy going through this movie. I know nobody wanted any more of these. Not only is the newest installment equally as dull and badly written, but who thought that reveal at the end was a good idea? To the 3 fans, a kick in the face. It can only be this. We get bad movies every year, but even the concept alone, War of the World on Screen Life, do I need to explain? Not only is it a stupid idea, but it's not even well acted. Ice Cube is putting in a subpar performance, nobody's doing anything too impressive, and the whole idea to have a message against being constantly spied on is not executed good, to say the least.
A muffin? Really? A muffin. What are you thinking? One hard-boiled egg. All right, they're right next to the donuts.
Yeah, that's the direction they take. It makes for a riveting narrative. Needless to say, it's not really genuine, but apparently it was a good enough idea to make another adaptation of this fucking story. Let me emphasize, this movie, this idea, was good enough. What were they thinking? It doesn't even look good, it's full of product placement. I'm dead serious. Weird things that don't belong are implemented into this. It's so far from the original idea, and I gotta be honest, making a video on this was not easy. In fact, it was one of the hardest ones I've made because of how they failed. It's not just bad, it's stagnant, probably shouldn't have been a scene-for-scene discussion that wasn't warranted. Because even if there were positives, it's War of the Worlds on fucking Screen Life. It's angering this happened. There are so many reviews that joked about it, acting like it was the best thing ever, because How else do you approach it? It doesn't do anything right, it's not fun to watch, thankfully not overly long, but when your base product is this fucking bad, it could be 20 minutes and still top the list. It's kind of a by default deal. It's hard to hate anything more than this. It's just a bizarre creation. I still can't believe it exists. And while I'd like to do something that isn't as common, you just can't ignore this. Ice Cube's War of the Worlds gets the crowning achievement of the worst film of 2025.
No, sir. I've never seen anything like this.
You know, based on what I've seen, so let me know what I did wrong down in the comments. Like the video, again, consider subscribing, share it if you can, and if you don't hit the bell to get notified, recommendations are not gonna happen. YouTube sucks. I wish you all a happy new year, and I am the analyst, so remember kids, not everything is shit, but it definitely wins out.